So I'm lucky enough to make a living talking about cars. We do car culture, the car community, and what we're known for here at CJ's is our installation videos where we show you products for your car and show you how to install them and recommend things you should do to your car. Now, one thing I will always say to you is don't necessarily do something someone tells you to do to your car. It's your car, do what you want. But basically you want to take advice from experts on the things that you could and couldn't do to make sure you don't do the wrong thing as far as a safety or performance aspect. But at the end of the day, it's your car and don't let anybody, even me, tell you what to do to it. But there are some things you just simply should not do, whether it's for safety's sake or performance sake, but there are things that have been proven to just be the wrong things to do to your car that you just don't want to do. And today we're going to tell you 10 of those things you definitely don't want to do to your car. Now, these are in no particular order. I'm going to be all over the place, but the first thing we'll talk about is don't delete your mufflers. Now, again, if you do have a resonator on the car, then it is okay, but if you don't delete the mufflers. There's no performance gain in taking the mufflers off the car. It's been proven that high-performance mufflers will flow just as much as no mufflers at all, and that back pressure can even add some horsepower. But at the end of the day, a muffler delete with no resonator just doesn't sound good. It's overly loud for absolutely no performance gain whatsoever. So if you're looking to make power, focus on getting a high-performance, high-flowing exhaust and don't just chop off the mufflers. Next on my list, do not cut your coil springs to lower your car. Now again, there are some specific grade springs that are designed to be cut to ride height. Most springs are not designed to be cut, and when you cut the spring, yes, you're going to lower your car, but your ride quality is going to suffer dramatically. A cut spring is going to ride like crap. There's no way around it. Nobody with a cut spring rides good because the spring wasn't designed to be cut. When you cut it, you're screwing up the spring rate, which is going to absolutely destroy your ride quality. There's tons of springs available for every vehicle out there, and most are very, very affordable. So again, don't cut the springs, buy a quality lowering spring. And while we're on the topic of springs, don't heat the springs. Now I've seen some people, and this has been common for years, that want to lower their car and they heat up the spring, which makes the spring softer and makes the car lower. Sure, you get that lowered look, but you get zero performance gain and you get a dangerous spring. When you heat up the spring to the point that it sags, you're damaging that coil and you're hurting the metal. That spring eventually is probably gonna snap. So it makes it very, very dangerous. Again, if you wanna lower your car, don't cut the springs, don't heat the springs, buy proper lowering springs and do it right the first time. Now, speaking of heating things, let's talk about nitrous. Now, if you're running nitrous on your car, nitrous is a great way to add horsepower, and nitrous, the bottle has to be at a certain pressure, and to get that pressure, you heat the bottle up. But if you're gonna do that, get a proper bottle heater. Don't heat it with a torch. It's the same thing with the springs. By putting that torch on that bottle, yes, it's gonna heat it up, it's gonna build pressure inside the bottle, but you're gonna build a weak spot in a pressurized bottle. Look around the line, you can see what an exploding nitrous bottle does to your car. It'll destroy the whole back end of your vehicle. So again, if you're running nitrous, which is not a bad idea if you want to make horsepower, make sure you have a proper electric bottle heater that wraps around the bottle and don't heat it with a torch. Next on my list is don't modify your vehicle without proper tuning. And that can be as basic as a cold air kit that requires a tune, all the way up to even superchargers and stuff like that. I've seen people bolt a supercharger to their car, do no tuning whatsoever, take it to the track, and you're gonna blow it up. You're adding more pressure. Obviously, the cylinder head or a head gasket or something is gonna come apart. But even for a cold air kit, that cold air kit has a larger mass air sensor for a modern vehicle, it needs a proper tune to run well. If you don't have the proper tune, then don't run that cold air kit or don't run those parts. Again, tuning is a very, very gray area these days, and a lot of people are shying away from it, and there are lots of performance parts that don't require it. But if you're talking about supercharging or nitrous or a lot of the big power outers, tuning is gonna be necessary, and don't try to run these parts without a proper tune. Next on my list of things not to do is too much negative camber. Now this hasn't really seen the Mustang world yet, although I've seen a few, but it is getting more and more popular, and that's that heavily stanced cambered out look. Now there's a couple reasons. Now, a little negative camber will work wonders in handling. If your car's set up for autocross or road race, adding a couple degrees negative is gonna make the suspension work better, give you a better contact patch. It's definitely the way to go. But anything beyond that, camber just for looks is dangerous. You're talking about a tire that might have we'll call it a 275 width, that you're only using like a quarter of that because the tire is just so cambered in. That makes steering dangerous, makes braking dangerous. In any kind of emergency situation, you have to turn, stop, whatever, you're not having enough contact patch to do so. And again, there's no performance value to it. It is strictly for looks and it's dangerous, so please don't do it to your Mustang. Now we're talking about a couple racing things for street cars. If you have a street car, basic bolt-on car, whatever, you do not need race gas. I see this all the time. I'm going to the track with my stock 22 that's got a resonator delete on it, and I'm gonna put some race gas in so I can go faster at the track. Absolutely not true. So first of all, a lot of race gas is leaded, which can damage a newer engine. But even if you're using an unleaded race gas, unleaded race gases are designed to burn slower than a standard like 93 octane fuel. So if you stick that in your Mustang that is not tuned for it, not designed for it, you're going to see serious problems with performance. It's going to actually make the car slower, because if the burn is slower, it's going to make less horsepower. Same with even like an E85. If your car's not tuned for it, you don't want to run it, the car's not going to run well. Now speaking of racing things you don't need, racing oil is another one. I've seen plenty of guys go like, oh, I'm going to take my car to the track, it's got a stock engine, let's get some 2050 Valvoline race oil in there because it's a race car now. It's like, it absolutely isn't. That oil is not designed for your car. You know, Mustangs are designed for 520 or 530. It's a very low viscosity oil. If you get a race oil in there, that higher viscosity is not going to flow as well and can create dangers in your engine. Now, race engines, if the race engine builder says you need this, then that's when you want to use that stuff. But putting race fuel or race oil in a car that is not designed for it will see zero benefit, actually make your car slower, and can cause engine damage. Now let's switch gears from the racing world to cleaning your car, which sounds extremely simple, but a lot of people do a lot of damage unintentionally. First of all, if you're washing your car, don't use dish soap. You know, it's easy to grab the Dawn, hey, that cleans my dishes, it's got grease, whatever. It's great. It's great for cleaning dishes. It's not good for cleaning your car. The detergents they use in dish soaps are so heavy designed to remove grease, they're actually going to remove the wax from your car. So if you have your car waxed nicely and you wash it with dish soap, it's going to remove all of the wax and leave your paint unprotected. Now again, if you are planning on a full detail and you're going to wax it immediately afterwards and you want to strip it, okay, then it's okay to use it. But for normal car washing, absolutely not, because again, you're going to strip the wax off the car, which will leave the paint unprotected. Now speaking of things not to do with your car, when you're done washing it, don't just grab a towel from the dryer, a beach towel, whatever, and dry your car. You know, those towels are going to scratch the paint. You'll get a towel that's designed for drying cars, air dry it, use an air blower, whatever you want to do. But again, grabbing those cheap beach towels and drying your car with them, you're going to create tons of scratches in the paint, and over time, it's going to make the paint look a lot worse. Now, the last one on my list is don't mod your car unevenly. And that sounds very simple, but I see it so many times, it's almost frustrating. You know, you want to have a plan when you modify your car. And we don't always know what we're going to do to it, but you want to have a general idea of what the end purpose is. So if you're looking to add a power to your car, you want to add a blower, nitrous, turbos, whatever, make more horsepower, the plan is to go drag racing, well, then you have to upgrade the clutch, you're going to upgrade the converter, you're going to upgrade the axles, tires, suspension. You want to do all these things. I see so many people throw a ton of power at a car and upgrade nothing else. And it's the same for braking and suspension. I've seen plenty of cars that have caster camber plates and coilovers and sway bars and everything under the sun, and then they go to the track on the factory all-season tires and complain about how bad the car is working. Again, you want to mod it evenly, so you want to make sure if you're adding power, well, add the parts you need to put that power to the ground reliably, and the same thing for cornering. If you want to corner faster and brake better, make sure you have all the pieces. You know, simply adding the small pieces and not looking at the big picture, it's going to make you have a car that you put a lot of money into, and it's not going to perform the way you really want it to. So again, if you're modding the car, have a plan and try to stick to it. Again, over the years, we've done a lot of videos showing you guys what to do to your car, and we had a little fun today telling you things you probably shouldn't do to your car. But again, at the end of the day, it's your car, and build it the way you want, and don't let anybody, even me, tell you how to build your car. One of the best things about Mustang, it's a blank canvas, and you can build it exactly the way you want.